Yes, we are live.
Okay, so here we go. Obviously, the topic for today, you guys have seen the announcement, is Jasprit Bumrah, and yesterday we had said that. By the way, none of us had the idea that Sanjay Manjrekar would write his article today and add to the Bumrah debate. Nobody could preempt that. And first things first, we have nothing against Sanjay Manjrekar. Sanjay is a decent friend of mine, and I respect him as an analyst. But on this one, I think Sanjay first, at least Sandeep Patil and Sanjay, the two we have read in recent times. Sandy Bhai is a good friend of mine, Sanjay also. But on this particular one, both are completely out of line. And we have to call this one out. It is becoming a fashion to talk nonsense about Jasprit Bumrah and get away. And it's a fact. England had played Jofra Archer for 2 games. The world did not become a battlefield because Jofra did not play the final game at the Oval. No one said anything. That was also, by the way, workload management. Jofra played 2 matches, Lords, he won England. Jasprit Bumrah, ahead of the series, had made it clear that he will play 3 games. Now, if Rohit Juglan or Shubhan or Bharat comes to me and says, look, sir, I can do these many assignments. This is what I can do. Whether after that Rev Sports wants me to cover something or not, you decide. Jasprit Bumrah did not go and snatch his position in England and say, I will play. He didn't do that. He said, this is what his body is allowing. This is what he can do. Let the team management decide after that. Here, all of a sudden, every possible blame is on Jasprit Bumrah. India has to adjust, not Bumrah. What do you mean India has to adjust? India has adjusted. India wanted Bumrah to play 3 test matches. That is why he was picked in the team. Shubhan, Rohit, Bharat, let's start this debate. Is Jasprit Bumrah being targeted because he will give you a headline? It's as simple as that, because the matter is pretty straightforward. Bumrah had said what he can do. The team management decided he is of value and they took him. Shubhan, why don't you start and then I'll go to Rohit and Bharat.
Burial, I find it very baffling, and Rohit and I had long discussions, not one time but numerous times during the England tour, as to why people are picking on Jasprit Bumrah, and when he becomes salty in press conferences, when he gives salty answers to media people, then there's a reason behind it. There's a reason behind it why he's becoming so salty. Someone puts him to bed rest without even knowing what is happening. Someone writes that he should not be a primary frontline bowler for India. Now former cricketers are passing comments on Jasprit Bumrah, who is your best bowler. It's not even a debate whether Bumrah is your best pacer of all time for the Indian team, or arguably he comes in the discussion of arguably the greatest from all countries. So now firstly, he as Bumrah, in Bumrah's word, you get the clicks, you get the hits, you get the likes and views when you talk about Jasprit Bumrah. So it has become a bit fashionable. But I did not see any of the former cricketers who has talked about Jasprit Bumrah in the recent past talk about Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma. Virat Kohli in particular, when he was at his peak and he was picking and choosing series, especially bilateral series, even Asia Cups. Virat Kohli at his peak has missed Asia Cup just for his workload management. Nidhias Trophy, if you remember, one example where Rohit led the team. So at that point, at that time, no one questioned Virat Kohli. Everyone was like, no, we need to safeguard Virat Kohli. If it's his body, then we should preserve his energy and his fitness for bigger series. And that's what Jasprit Bumrah is doing. His action, his body, that's a different topic altogether. Not only Jofra Archer. If you look at the example of Ben Stokes, yes, we have praised Ben Stokes. We have lauded his efforts, the way he put his body on the line. But at the same time, the fact remains that he missed out on the 5th test because he was pushing his body so much. We saw Jasprit Bumrah play all the test matches in Australia. What happened by the time the Sydney test came? In the second innings, he said, nahi ho raha hai, body mein zor nahi lag raha hai. There were numerous occasions in Australia where he said, nahi lag raha hai. So you can't blame Jasprit Bumrah. If he's your best bowler, then preserve him for the best of the series.
Rohit, what Shubhan is saying. First thing is, this is not a case of injury. He has not hidden anything. It is a case of workload management. Jasprit Bumrah ahead of the series said, my body will give me 3 test matches. By the way, medical opinion. And I am privy to certain information which I cannot share in the public domain. What Shubhan said about Melbourne, from day 3 in Melbourne, his body was on the downhill. He pushed himself because of that same 1-2. Series was 1-2, went into Sydney, first innings gone. It is not as if he had hidden anything from anybody. Now, it is on the selection committee and the team management. Don't take him. You don't want him. Has he said, you are forced to take me? No, he's not your captain. You have not given him captaincy. Why? Because you know that he's not playing 5 games. Now it is again on you, right? Don't take him. Who has Jasprit Bumrah come and begged you? Take me, take me, take me. No. So where is this criticism coming from? What is the logic? Have you been able to piece this together? I haven't. And someone told me this quote, a former extremely well-known coach. People will understand. I can't reveal the name because these people have contracts. He said Jasprit Bumrah is like a fixed deposit. You want to use it, you want to use him, you want to break the fixed deposit today, the entire money will go. Your call. You want to kill the golden goose, do it. But if you want to use the fixed deposit properly, it will give you interest for at least 3, 4, 5 more years. Where do you stand on this, Rohit Jugla?
नहीं एग्जैक्टली मैं मीन्स शुरुआत से ही जब से इंग्लैंड का दौरा शुरू हुआ था, आई रिमेम्बर हिम सेइंग दिस टू वन पर्सन इन द मीडिया दैट मेरे बारे में काफी कुछ ऐसा लिखा जाता है जो अच्छा होगा कि अगर मुझसे पूछ कर लिखा जाए. मैं ऐसा नहीं हूं कि मैं इंटरव्यूज नहीं देता हूं, लेकिन ऐसा भी नहीं है कि मैं जवाब ही नहीं दूंगा आपको, अगर आप मेरे बारे में कुछ ऐसा लिख रहे हो. एंड पिछले 10 सालों से जब से जसप्रीत बुमराह ने क्रिकेट खेलनी शुरू करी है, they always said this कि ये बंदा ये क्रिकेट नहीं खेल सकता, ये फॉर्मेट नहीं खेल सकता, ये एक्शन ये वाले फॉर्मेट को सूट नहीं करेगा. अभी व्हाइट बॉल खेल रहा है, रेड बॉल नहीं खेल पाएगा. रेड बॉल खेलेगा तो सेना कंट्रीज में खेल पाएगा, सेना में खेल जाएगा तो होम नहीं खेल पाएगा. पिछले 10 सालों से फॉर लास्ट 10 years इट्स बीन सेड फॉर जसप्रीत बुमराह दैट कुछ ना कुछ इसका होकर ही रहेगा. अब जैसा शुभानंद ने भी कहा कि जब बुमराह ये चीजें लगातार पढ़ रहे हैं और देख रहे हैं, एंड ये जो एक स्पेसिफिक पैटर्न है ना, पता नहीं लोग इसको नोटिस कर रहे हैं या नहीं, बट ये थोड़े से पुराने क्रिकेटर्स हैं सारे के सारे. मोहम्मद अजरुद्दीन ने कहा, दिलीप वेंगसरकर ने कहा, यू हैव संदीप पाटिल सेइंग द सेम, संजय मांजरेकर ने तो ये तक लिख दिया कि एक अनफिट बॉडी के साथ भी आप खेल जाओ. मतलब ठीक है, ऋषभ पंत ने जो किया उसको हम सल्यूट करते हैं. मोहम्मद सिराज जो कर रहे थे, हमें पता है कि उन्होंने कितने एफर्ट्स मारे, बट ईशांत शर्मा की एक छोटी सी बाइट चल रही है. अभी पिछले 4-5 दिन पहले उन्होंने कहीं पर कुछ कहा एंड ही सेड इट परफेक्टली. उन्होंने कहा कि मोहम्मद सिराज की बॉडी डिफरेंट है और जसप्रीत बुमराह की बॉडी डिफरेंट है. मोहम्मद सिराज टचवुड और भगवान ना करे कभी उनको कोई स्ट्रेस फ्रैक्चर हो, मोहम्मद सिराज को कभी कोई स्ट्रेस फ्रैक्चर ना हो, बट जसप्रीत बुमराह वेंट थ्रू मल्टीपल स्ट्रेस फ्रैक्चर्स. ना वो बंदा वहां पर है जहां पर हमने इतनी सी गलती करी और हम हमेशा के लिए उनको खो देंगे. हमेशा के लिए खोने से मेरा मतलब यह है कि आपको जसप्रीत बुमराह कभी एज अ फास्ट बॉलर शायद ये हो कि रेड बॉल खेलता हुआ कभी दिखाई ना दे. नाउ मैं एक सोहम देसाई का इंटरव्यू सुन रहा था, अभी उन्होंने 4-5 दिन पहले कहीं पर रिकॉर्ड दिया है. उन्होंने सिंपल तौर पर यह कहा कि पिछले 10 साल में बुमराह जो अपनी बॉडी के साथ कर रहा है, वो इतना उसने अपना जो उसका वर्क एथिक है और जो उसका जो जिम सेशन है और उसका जो उसका अपनी बॉडी को लेकर के जो अवेयरनेस है, वो इतना अच्छा है कि वो इस सारी चीज को जो है वो यहां तक ले आया है कि आप चाहे जितना बोलिए कि वो ये नहीं खेल पाएगा, वो नहीं खेल पाएगा. बिकॉज अभी भरत भाई और मेरे जो ट्विटर पे बात भी कर रहे थे हम कि यस देयर इज समथिंग कि उनका एक्शन ऐसा है कि उनकी बैक पे स्ट्रेस आता होगा. देयर इज समथिंग जो कहीं ना कहीं उनको कुछ ना कुछ उस जगह पे ले जा रहा है जहां पर हम ये कह सकते हैं कि थोड़ा सा क्या इंजरी कंसर्न्स उस वजह से बढ़ जाता है. बट अगेन अगर वो आपको पिछले अगर आप 6-8 महीने देखें, एक बड़ी इंजरी से आकर उसने आईपीएल भी मिस किया. अगर सिर्फ आईपीएल पहले होता और देश पहले ना होता तो वो आईपीएल मिस नहीं करता. उसने 4-5 मैचेस मिस करे अंटिल एंड अनलेस ही फील्स कि नाउ आई एम परफेक्टली फिट. वो नहीं आया आईपीएल खेलने के लिए. देन आप देखिए जो हमने ऑस्ट्रेलिया दौरे में देखा, आप जैसा आपने कहा मेलबर्न जैसा अगर उनको लग रहा था कि मेरी बॉडी नहीं साथ दे रही है तो मेलबर्न में मना कर सकते थे. और जितना मैंने सुना है ऑस्ट्रेलिया में भी ही सेड दिस कि कुछ हो सकता है क्या इन सारी चीजों में. एंड दिस इज नॉट द फर्स्ट टाइम. 2018 आई रिमेंबर बुरियादा, आई होप यू नो दिस, आपको पता होगा शायद ये 2018 रवि शास्त्री सेड ऑन द पर्थ टेस्ट के बाद इस बारे में डिस्कशंस हुए थे दैट बुमराह को नहीं खिलाना है. डॉक्टर्स ने, फिजियोज ने ये कह दिया था हेड कोच को और कैप्टन को कि बुमराह 3rd और 4th टेस्ट के लिए अवेलेबल, 3rd के लिए नहीं होगा, 4th के लिए देखेंगे हम। बट रवि शास्त्री सेड दिस थिंग की, और उनका रीजन क्या था कि आने वाले साल में वर्ल्ड कप है, हम वर्ल्ड कप मिस आउट कर सकते हैं। रवि शास्त्री ने एक सीधा क्वेश्चन पूछा कोचेस से, हमारे पास वर्ल्ड कप्स कितने हैं? तो जैसे 3 वर्ल्ड कप है हमारे पास बीजेपी कितनी है? कहा हमारे पास एक भी नहीं है। सो यू हैव गिवन द आंसर, बॉर्डर गावस्कर ट्रॉफी एक भी नहीं है, बुमराह को ये सीरीज खेलनी जरूरी है, वर्ल्ड कप हम जीत जाएंगे। तो वहां पर भी बुमराह मना कर सकता था, बुमराह ऑस्ट्रेलिया में भी मना कर सकता था, बुमराह इंग्लैंड में भी कह सकता था कि नहीं यार ये चीज नहीं हो पाएगी, ऐसे नहीं हो पाएगा, वैसे नहीं हो पाएगा। बट मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है बुर्यादा, दिस इज समथिंग विच इज वेरी मच रिलेटेड टू कि एक प्लेयर को टारगेट करना है। अब कुछ टाइम पहले इन्हीं लोगों के, मैक्सिमम इन्हीं लोगों के हिट लिस्ट पे विराट कोहली होते थे, आज विराट कोहली नहीं है। सो मैं समझ नहीं पा रहा हूं कि हाउ कैन अ सीजन प्लेयर, समवन लाइक अ मोहम्मद कैफ, someone like a संजय मांजरेकर, someone like a संदीप पाटिल तो चेयरमैन सेलेक्टर रह चुके हैं, हाउ कैन ही से कि भाई हमारे टाइम पे तो ऐसा होता था। भाई अगेन आई हैव फुल रिस्पेक्ट फॉर कपिल देव, लेकिन कपिल देव अपने करियर के अंत में आते आते 120 किलोमीटर पर आवर डालने लगे थे, एंड कपिल देव वहां पर आकर क्रिकेट छोड़िए जहां पे लोगों ने बोला सर बस हो गया, अब छोड़ दीजिए क्रिकेट। क्या बुमराह उस स्टेज में अपने करियर के? सो हम
देखो, I don't think ये comparison valid भी है। I think Rohit, what you've said is totally taken कि the whole point is unfair. Kapil Paji was a legend. What his body and what Jasprit Bumrah's body. People will say, अरे
उस समय का क्रिकेट और आज का क्रिकेट, आज का वर्कलोड और उस समय का वर्कलोड, आपको 2 महीने के आराम मिलते थे एक टूर के बाद। आपको बहुत अच्छे तरीके से पता है कि उस समय पे आराम कितना था, उस समय पे सारी चीजें कितनी थी। आज का वर्कलोड अलग है। आज आप आईपीएल भी खेल रहे हो, 2-2.5 महीना आईपीएल चलता है। इंडियन टीम के एक पूरे दिन में 250 दिन से ज्यादा की क्रिकेट है। सो पहले इस तरह से चीजें नहीं थी।
ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट है भरत। लेट मी आस्क यू दिस, people are saying IPL, and you will see a lot of people will say this. In fact, again, I can't name. I've spoken to several people on this one. A coach who you guys can clearly understand was part of the setup and knows Bumrah very well. He said to me, but did he not play Leeds? You are talking about IPL. What was the first test match? Leeds, right? After the IPL, what was the first test? Leeds. What was Bumrah's speed at Leeds? 140 kilometers for 35% of the balls.
Yeah.
So did he play Leeds, yes or no? Suppose he doesn't play 2 months of IPL. Chalo, 2 months IPL he won't play. Does that guarantee you he will play 5 test matches? ऐसे होता है क्या किसी का बॉडी? अरे टेस्ट मैच में जो 40 ओवर्स डालने के बाद आफ्टर लीड्स, आफ्टर बर्मिंघम, will his body will say, oh, you did not play in April and May, now you will be able to play in June and July. Are you stupid? Where is this even coming from? And this man was, he said, had I not had the contract, I would have come on your show and started shouting from the rooftop. But how is it that this whole IPL is even brought here? Leeds was 20 days after IPL. This man bowled at 140, 35% of the balls. Over a period of time, we saw the speed dropping because of body, whatever. No one has asked him. He has not begged to anyone to take him in the team. India needs him. India has picked him. Simple. Matter ends. Gautam's call, Shubman's call, selection committee call, BCCI call. What is going on? Bharat Ramraj, where do you stand on this?
50 overs plus a 5-wicket haul.
See, what I would say here is IPL and Test cricket shouldn't be compared here, because if you want to give an example, IPL is like kart racing. You would have heard some teenager, a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, before going into Formula One would get into kart racing. 3-lap race, 4-lap race. So basically, you are bowling 4 overs over 3 spells, maybe divided into 1 over each, or 2 overs, 1 over, 1 over. So that's completely different from bowling 20 overs in a day. That is like you are driving in a Lehman series, 24-hour Lehman series. That is basically related to endurance. Test cricket is also like endurance bowling, where you have to maybe with over a period of time, you just increase your speeds, try to reserve your strengths, try to reserve your energies for your later spells and bowl 20 overs. So that really is not a good comparison, whoever is doing it. Secondly, you have to look at the technical side of things as well with Jasprit Bumrah. See, you think about even Kapil Dev. Okay, I will bring Kapil Dev only into consideration, or Jimmy Anderson at the fag end of his careers. If you look at their actions and their run-up, it's very smooth, well-oiled action, well-oiled run-up. So a lot of their pace is coming through the run-up. So that is where the difference is. With Bumrah, what he does is he has a kind of jogs into the crease and then he runs over a short run up. And when you do that, most even if you ask a technical expert, I asked this to Stephen John as well. I took an interview recently. He also agreed with this. It's basically what happens is you muscle through the crease a lot more. So when you muscle through the crease a lot more, you get that side bend. They keep talking about that side bend or lateral flexion. That is basically your spine. Your spine is bending a lot more because you're kind of muscling through the crease, and that is what could lead to back injuries. That's what a biomechanist would say. So that is why I think Bumrah has had 3 back injuries. One of them turned out to be he had to go undergo a surgery. And a Shane Bond noted to another publication that if he has another stress fracture of the lower back and if he again undergoes another surgery, then it could lead to something like career-threatening injury. So I can understand why, from where Jasprit Bumrah is coming from, because he is a little bit afraid. He would be a little bit cautious if he has another back surgery, if he had to undergo another surgery, then an injury and another surgery, then it could result in his career ending, end of his
You know,
career. So workload
Bharat,
management is definitely needed.
I started the show giving the Jofra Archer example specifically because what you said. You gave Anderson and Kapil Dev. I gave Jofra Archer exactly for this reason. That the run-up. And I was chatting, as I said, I spoke to many people. And one of the people I spoke to was Bharat Arun. In fact, Bharat and I were chatting about Jofra and Bumrah. Bharat said, look at Jofra's action, smooth, silken smooth, etc. He played 2 tests, England rested him for the last. If you take Jasprit Bumrah, he did not play the last test match. So exactly what the point that you were making, Bharat, that Jasprit Bumrah does not get much from the run-up. Everything is when in that last little bit where he pushes his body. So his entire thing is concentrated there. One has to understand that. Despite that, nothing was said about Jofra. And that's why I gave the Jofra example. 2, you mentioned Shane Bond. Let me actually give you, and by the way, the players have told me. I cannot say who told me when, but a lot of people. I have spoken to a lot of people saying what is going on with this guy. And from what I know, people who were then part of the team, from what I know, Jasprit after Melbourne, on day 3 Melbourne or day 4, day 3, he was done. Physically, he was done. He was told that you have to, India is still in the game. Can you push? He pushed. He managed Melbourne. Somehow, India lost, whatever reason. He was physically gone. 3 days turnaround. 30th December, match ended. 30th December, 31st, first match started on the 3rd. 4 days turnaround in Sydney. Jasprit Bumrah bowled in the first innings. 3rd day, 2nd day, he was gone. All of us were there, Rohit, Shubha and me. He was taken away and thereafter we know what happened. The medical opinion is this. The medical opinion is if there is another problem, he has been told categorically, and I'm putting this on record, he will never play red ball cricket. 1, never. 2, he has been told that 90% his white ball career will be under the scanner. 50 over cricket possibly gone. T20 could still play, but that too they will have to evaluate if there is one further injury. Not Shane Bond. Medical experts who have been associated with this clear opinion on Bumrah. Now, suppose this man, everybody knows his or her body. He knows he has 4 or 5 years of cricket left. Is he mad that he will put his body on the line knowing that there is a chance of a career getting finished? Because if he tries something, also, when he tries something, he will not be able to do 100% because he knows his body. After that, will someone do it? People say money. Now, let me say this, boss. If I know that I can earn 100 crore rupees in the next 4 years, and I know that I'm putting 100 crore rupees on the line, my entire career on the line, if I play one test match where I cannot give my 100%, I will not play that test match. And I have a family to run. I want to live. I have to survive. Anybody, hand on heart, any former cricketer, 100 crores on one side, 5 years of cricket on the other side, you come and tell me you will leave on that and go and play one game. Tell me, if you're telling me that, you're lying. Shubhan, where do you stand on this? I think this whole patriotism debate has gone to a different level, which is becoming hypocritical of the highest order. Shubhan.
Guriala, whatever matches Jasprit Bumrah has missed in the last 4-5 years, He still remains the bowler, the Indian bowler with most overs among pacers. Among pacers, he still remains the bowler, Indian bowler, Indian pacer with most overs, almost 1,000 overs. Mitchell Stark is at number one. Pat Cummins is at number two. Tim Southee at number three since 2021. I'm talking about, and at number four is James Anderson, followed by Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj. 20 overs difference between these two players, Siraj and Bumrah. So despite Bumrah, and that shows that even if Bumrah is picking and choosing matches, or the team management is picking and choosing matches for him, he still remains your most bold pacer in any condition. Even in India, last domestic season, the home season, we saw how much Bumrah was used. Yes, he does not play all the matches, and that's not needed. You don't want to overburden him with home matches, home test matches also. But at the same time, whenever he plays, he remains your most bold pacer. In England, we saw him bowl for 40 overs a day as well. So that is a huge workload for someone, for any pacer.
I mean, 20 overs a day, 40 overs in the
20 overs
innings.
a day, 40 overs in an innings, 40 overs in an innings, 44 overs in an innings. So that's a huge workload for someone who is trying to manage his workload. But he has never said no when he's playing a match. I only remember one match in Australia where he was being bowled to the ground. He said, "और दम नहीं लग रहा है, अब हो गया है मेरे से," after a 7 or 8 over spell that day. But at the same time, whenever he's playing, even in England, we saw all the three tests he played. He never, told Shubman, said to Shubman that I won't bowl this spell. He was bowling. Yes, they were shorter spells, but that is how the team management came to one page altogether and decided how to use Jasprit Bumrah. But despite that, he was bowling 44 overs in an innings. So that is a huge workload. 1,000 overs in 4 overs for a bowler who is apparently managing his body is massive, and that shows that he is your number one bowler, and there's no debate around it. If you have, as you said, a golden goose, if you have a golden goose, then save him rather than sacrifice him for the shorter goal. It's not about short term gains that we are looking in right now. We want to see the longer benefit. You have a T20 World Cup, you have a 27 ODI World Cup, WTC cycle. I think after this WTC cycle, a decision, Bumrah will take a decision or whether to continue or not in international cricket. But I think for 27, in the next 2 years, you have to save him. You have important ICC tournaments, and India right now, with how the cricket is being played, I don't know how many Australian pacers or their senior players will continue post Ashes. But given the current scenario of international cricket, I think India have a great chance to clean sweep the ICC trophies. But for that, you need Jasprit Bumrah. You need Jasprit Bumrah operating at his best. Picking and choosing, that's what the team management will decide. They will decide which matches to play him or not. But you need Jasprit Bumrah operating at his best, because your pace department depth is still raw. Is still, you need to fine tune them in the coming years, which I am pretty sure they will do. But you need Bumrah at his best.
Rohit, the other point that I want to make here, suppose अभी चलो इंडिया जीत गया एंड वो सिराज वाला मिरेकल हो गया, यार गॉड फॉरबिड अगर वो नहीं होता, तब हम लोग सबको पता है क्या होने वाला था. जसप्रीत बुमराह को तो वहां पे गिलोटीन पे लगा के बलि दे दो, खत्म करो.
Imagine the Ben Stokes press conference. He came out and said, there could be an instance where nothing happens if I play the fifth test, but there could be an instance where I miss the Ashes because I'll aggravate my whatever the niggle is. Had Jasprit Bumrah come out, or someone from the Indian team come out and said the same about Bumrah, you would have seen riots being taken across social media platforms.
यही बोल रहा हूँ ना, मैं तो आप लोगों को यही बोलने का कोशिश कर रहा हूँ that the example I gave, Jofra did not play test 1, he played the second and the third test. Sorry, third and fourth. And third test उसने जिता दिया. Fourth test ऑटोमेटिकली हमने देखा सेकेंड इनिंग्स में कुछ नहीं हुआ. जोफ्रा से 130 पे डाल रहा था, द पेस हैड ड्रॉप्ड एंड देन फाइनली ही डिड नॉट. ही प्लेड 2 टेस्ट्स. इंग्लैंड उसको प्रिजर्व कर लिया. No one
he did not bowl in the second last 2 sessions because he was unable to get his arm up.
4 साल बाद आ रहा है. He's coming up in 4 years.
लॉर्ड्स में डाला. बेन स्टोक्स ने बोला कि नहीं हम रिस्क नहीं लेंगे. तो हम लोग ये क्यों करते हैं? आई मीन ये, एंड my fear in this whole thing that now with people will come and say हम लोग तो PR कर रहे हैं. वो फर्क नहीं पड़ता, दैट इज फाइन बाय अस। वो तो तुम लोग दोनों शुभमन गिल का पीआर करोगे, कल बुमराह का करोगे, थर्ड डे गौतम का कर लोगे, ओनली खा के कुछ पैसा मिल जाता तो साला
मैं
कंपनी।
कह रहा हूँ काश हम करते, हमें बहुत अब तक करोड़पति हो चुके होते।
हम अगर हर बार चैट में पीआर बोलने से 1 रुपया करके मिलता तो दोनों आज करोड़पति होते।
मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ, अगर ये पीआर के लिए कंपनी को कुछ पैसा ये लोग दे देते तो एक्चुअली मुझे मेरा देखो ना इतना व्हाइट हेयर नहीं होता, थोड़ा सा बेटर हो जाता। But coming back to Bumrah, Rohit, on a serious note, how do you see Bumrah handled in the Asia Cup? Do you see Bumrah in the Asia Cup and missing the West Indies thing, or the first Test match? Do you think Bumrah should be taken into the Asia Cup? Because after that, after a while, when you actually look at the quality of teams in the Asia Cup, do you actually think Bumrah is needed? Or because of the geopolitics associated with Pakistan, इतना hype हो चुका है कि भाई आप पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ खेल रहे हो, हराना ही पड़ेगा, आप जसप्रीत बुमराह को एज अ सिक्योरिटी बैंक लेकर जाओगे, and then you rest him for the first Test match against West Indies and you continue. How do you see Jasprit Bumrah used by India in the next few months, Rohit?
एक तो बहुत अच्छी चीज है बुरिया, दैट उस बंदे के पास दिमाग बहुत अच्छा है। वो इन सारी चीजों को, लाइक मी एंड शुभन वी हैड हमने बहुत ऑफ द रिकॉर्ड बातें करी है जसप्रीत बुमराह के साथ जो हम नहीं बता सकते हैं यहाँ पर, और हमें भी पता है वो क्या बोलने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। आधा मीडिया उसको समझ नहीं रहा है बिकॉज वो अब जैसे शुभन ने भी शुरुआत में कहा, बिकॉज वही रिसीविंग एंड पे खड़े हैं तो वो कैसे समझेंगे। बट बात सिर्फ इतनी है कि जसप्रीत बुमराह, उनकी जैसे मैंने एक इंस्टाग्राम पे कोटेशन लिखा था कि हिज विजडम हिट्स एज हार्ड एज हिज यॉर्कर्स। तो जब वो बात करते हैं ना, ही इज नॉट समवन, और मैंने जितना भी हम लोग ऑन रिकॉर्ड ऑफ रिकॉर्ड क्रिकेटर से बात करते हैं, मैं नहीं आया ऐसे क्रिकेटर से बातचीत नहीं करी जो इतना सॉर्टेड हो चीजों को लेकर के। तो आई रियली वांट टू पुट दिस अक्रॉस कि उस बंदे के पास कम से कम इन चीजों से उसको फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, टू बी रियली ऑनेस्ट। और वो अगर बोलना होगा तो जवाब दे भी देगा। जैसे मुझे याद है मैंने जब लॉर्ड्स में उनसे ये सवाल किया था कि आपके बारे में ऐसे ऐसे बोला जाता है कि अब करियर खत्म हो जाएगा, तब करियर, मुझे कुछ जर्नलिस्ट आकर बोल रहे हैं कि व्हाई आर यू आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन। मैंने कहा ये अब मेरे को कोई थोड़ी बोलेगा कि मेरे को प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में क्या सवाल पूछना है, मैं पूछूंगा जो मैं पूछना चाहता हूं। और मैं ये समझ रहा हूं कि कहीं ना कहीं दुनिया बहुत मैं उन लोगों से भी पूछना चाहता हूं जो इन आर्टिकल्स को पब्लिश कर रहे हैं, या कोई तो देखता होगा ना, कोई तो देखता होगा इन आर्टिकल्स को कि लास्ट में पूरा एक आर्टिकल लिखा हुआ है और लास्ट में आते आते उस आर्टिकल को फिनिश ऐसे किया हुआ है कि क्यों नहीं वो एक चोटिल शरीर के साथ भी, मैं हिंदी में ट्रांसलेट कर रहा हूं, क्यों नहीं वो एक चोटिल शरीर के साथ भी मैच खेल जाते हैं, क्यों नहीं उनको बॉडी अपनी ऑन द लाइन लगानी पड़ती है। तो मैं थोड़ा सा सोचने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं, जब फिर ऐसे ही आर्टिकल्स आप आगे आते हुए देखते हो और उसमें आप आधे से ज्यादा लोगों को ये लिखते हुए देखते हो कि हाँ उसने भी तो खेला, इसने भी तो खेला, इन्होंने भी तो 5 टेस्ट मैचेस खेले, तो फिर बुमराह क्यों नहीं खेल रहा है। तो फिर मैं पूछना चाहता हूं उन लोगों से कि जब आप इस तरह की चीजों को आगे बढ़ा रहे हो, कभी संदीप पाटिल कुछ बोल रहे हैं तो कोई ना कोई तो मंच दे रहा होगा ना, या तो मोहम्मद कैफ वाला तरीका हो कि भाई यूट्यूब चैनल अपना खोला हुआ है वहां पे जाके बोल दिया। बट अगर संजय मांजरेकर को कोई प्लेटफॉर्म मिल रहा है, या संदीप पाटिल को कोई प्लेटफॉर्म मिल रहा है, या दिलीप वेंगसरकर को कोई प्लेटफॉर्म मिल रहा है, या किसी भी और एक्स क्रिकेटर को कोई प्लेटफॉर्म मिल रहा है, तो क्रिकेटर को भी तो ये लगेगा ना कि भाई ठीक है चलो इनको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है। सपोज संदीप पाटिल ने जो बोला या आज जो संजय मांजरेकर ने बोला उससे हम इत्तेफाक नहीं रखते, लेकिन क्या जिन्होंने वो मंच दिया क्या वो इत्तेफाक रखते हैं उनकी इस बात से, पता नहीं। मुझे ये भी चीज थोड़ी सी है, और मुझे इसीलिए लगता है कि शायद जसप्रीत बुमराह इतना उन्होंने जब बोला कि शायद अब मेरे नाम को लेकर के लोग चाहते हैं कि सब्सक्राइबर्स आ जाएं, क्लिक्स आ जाएं, थोड़ा सा मेरे नाम पे अगर आप कुछ सेंसेशन लिखते हो, कोई ऐसी चीज लिखते हो जो हाइप क्रिएट करती है, तो कहीं ना कहीं लोग क्लिक करते हैं। एंड टू बी रियली ऑनेस्ट, जसप्रीत बुमराह के नाम से इंडियन क्रिकेट में फर्क तो पड़ता है। वो ऐसे खिलाड़ी नहीं है कि जिनको आप बाहर कर दोगे या जिनके बारे में आप कुछ लिख दोगे तो किसी को कोई मतलब नहीं है। ही ठीक है, वो बहुत ज्यादा सोशल मीडिया पे एक्टिव नहीं रहते, लेकिन कम से कम ये बात तो है कि उनके नाम को लेकर के डिस्कशंस होते हैं। तो मुझे जो आपका सवाल है बोलिया था, उसमें मुझे यही लगता है कि ही नोज कि उनको क्या खेलना है। T20 वर्ल्ड कप आ रहा है, 4 महीने के अंदर T20 वर्ल्ड कप है, ही नोज की, और होम कंडीशंस पर ही है, तो उनको ये पता है कि अगर मैं एशिया कप के 2 या 3 मैचेस खेल लूं, अगेन मैं वहां पर भी यही कहूंगा कि क्या जरूरत है आपको यूएई के अगेंस्ट खेलने की, ओमान के अगेंस्ट खेलने की, मैक्सिमम आप पाकिस्तान के अगेंस्ट खेलिए, और कोई इंपॉर्टेंट मैच आपको लग रहा है जस्ट फॉर योर बॉडी, जस्ट सो दैट कि आपकी बॉडी बिल्कुल तैयार रहे। फिर आपके पास ऑस्ट्रेलिया सीरीज है, वो चुनिए कि आपको ऑस्ट्रेलिया सीरीज खेलनी है कि नहीं खेलनी है, क्योंकि इस समय पर ऑस्ट्रेलिया सीरीज का कोई मतलब नहीं है, कोई WTC पॉइंट्स तो लगे हुए नहीं है। उसके बाद आपको घर पर खेलना है न्यूजीलैंड के साथ, साउथ अफ्रीका के साथ, वो सीरीज खेलिए क्योंकि घर पर ही T20 वर्ल्ड कप है। कोशिश कीजिए कि उन 6 में से आप 5 मैचेस खेल पाएं, 6 के 6 मैचेस खेल पाएं, एंड देन फिर आगे बढ़िए और टेस्ट मैच खेलिए। टेस्ट मैच इसलिए खेलिए क्योंकि आप जैसे प्लेयर्स की वजह से टेस्ट मैच लोग देखने आते हैं। जसप्रीत बुमराह एक एक्सपीरियंस है जो आप कह सकते हो कि भाई आप देखने आइए। मैं एक छोटा सा लास्ट खत्म कर रहा हूँ बोलिया था, एक छोटा सा कल शाम का अपने घर का कॉन्वर्सेशन बता रहा हूँ। लाइक माय ब्रदर वाज सेइंग कि मुझे सिंगापुर जाना है एक F1 रेस देखने के लिए। मैंने कहा आपको जसप्रीत बुमराह का एक स्पेल देखना चाहिए, उससे बढ़िया, मतलब मैंने ऐसे बोला, यस F1 वाले बोलेंगे भाई क्या कंपैरिजन कर रहे हो, लेकिन मैंने ऐसा बोला कि आपको जसप्रीत बुमराह का एक फुल थ्रॉटल स्पेल देखना चाहिए, आपको उसमें ज्यादा मजा आएगा। सो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वो लोग खींचकर ला सकते हैं अपनी तरफ, और टेस्ट क्रिकेट को चाहिए। आफ्टर विराट कोहली एंड रोहित शर्मा, टेस्ट क्रिकेट नीड समवन लाइक अ ऋषभ पंत, अ शुभमन गिल एंड जसप्रीत बुमराह और यशस्वी जायसवाल, जो फ्लेयर दे सके लोगों को, जो उनको खींच के ला सके ड्रेसिंग रूम, ड्रेसिंग रूम बोल रहा हूँ, स्टेडियम्स की तरफ। सो दैट्स माय ओनली पॉइंट, दैट गाय हैज विजडम। तो वो सॉर्ट आउट कर लेगा, उसको इन चीजों से बहुत फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा कि संजय मांजरेकर ने मेरे बारे में ये कह दिया, संदीप पाटिल ने ये कह दिया, या किसी और ने कुछ और कह दिया।
Bharat, the points that are being made, has all of this made Bumrah a little sarcastic, a little cynical? When I see Bumrah's press conferences, I actually get a. By the way, I am critical of Bumrah's press conferences. I think Bumrah comes across in the press conference as maybe not 100% involved in the press conference when he speaks. And I have an issue with that. Like, for example, Rohit or Shubhan or I, when we are asking our questions with fullest of integrity and commitment. But when the answer comes, I think the answer comes basis what these cricketers have said, what somebody else may have said, what the kind of public perception is being built across YouTube channels. And I think he is doing injustice to the media that is sitting inside. That I have a problem with that. But do you think, and I'm trying to understand why he does that. And one of the reasons could be this, that he has become sarcastic, he has become cynical, he has become a little irritable because he knows that all of this nonsense keeps carrying on. And again, I ask the same question of you, Bharat. When I think of Bumrah and the Asia Cup, again, by the way, this is not Bumrah's call. This is the BCCI's call. And I think the BCCI has handled it perfectly well. It is Gautam's call. In red ball, it is Shubman's call. In white ball, it is Surya's call. Of course, it is Ajit Agarkar and his selection committee's call. How they will use Bumrah in the Asia Cup and in the West Indies series, they need to decide and communicate it to the player. The player will make himself available. Matter ends. I can play 3 tests. Now it's your decision as the decision makers to tell me whether I am needed or not needed. Rohit Juglan is available to go to the Asia Cup. It is my call as editor of this particular organization to decide whether Rohit, Bharat, Shubha and Boria are needed or not needed. Matter ends. Rohit has not said, sir, send me or don't send me. He has said, sir, I am available to go. That's where his job ends. Where do you stand, Bharat? How do you see Jasprit Bumrah used in the next couple of months?
Yeah, in the Asia Cups, it's a T20 tournament, so India can look at resting him. If they pick him in the squad, they can rest him for one of those games that's not very important, like versus UAE or Oman. I'm just giving an example. And then keep him for the game against Pakistan because of geopolitics or the things surrounding that game. I understand Pakistan themselves are struggling these days in T20 cricket, in limited overs cricket, but still there's a lot more pressure related to that particular game. So India may not take not take chances with that particular match and play Jasprit Bumrah. That is something that they can do. Again, T20, you are looking at 4 overs divided into maybe 3 spells, so Bumrah should be able to get through it. And then against the West Indies, I'm not very sure India really need him. Even if they want to, maybe they can play him in one test. But West Indies batting lineup, yes, they have a good pace attack. Yes, they have a couple of decent spinners. But if you look at their batting unit, I think they will really struggle against India's spinners. From whatever I've seen, I don't think India really need someone like Jasprit Bumrah for the West Indies, even for the couple of test matches. Then they can just look at it game by test series by test series, tournament by tournament, see how Jasprit Bumrah's body is or how he is recovering from a particular series, after a particular tournament, and then just take it forward. Because see, Bumrah, how many years he has left in him? Maybe he has about 3 years of international cricket left in him. If India are able to do this workload management in the right manner, if they're able to carry it out in the right manner, he has about 3 years of international cricket left in him. So they just take it series by series, tournament by tournament, sees how his body reacts. But for the time being, in terms of short-term planning, play him in the Asia Cup, maybe rest him in a couple of games that are not so important. Play him against Pakistan, then in the upcoming crucial matches, and by perhaps rest him against the West Indies.
Okay, that's the Bumrah part. We'll take 5 more minutes. Couple of other points. Rohit, I am told that the selection committee is so much debate about vice captaincy going on. Today, I was told that at least the think tank and BCCI and selectors are not even bothered about vice captaincy. And I was told that why Shubman Gill, the player, is far, far more important for us, and the debate will be on that. Whether Gill, the player, is part of the team or not, nobody is even remotely bothered about vice captaincy. Vice captaincy is a ceremonial post. We are not even concerned at this point in time. There are many players. The question is about Gill, the player. Does India need him? Does India not? Will we continue with continuity, or on the day Shubman Gill makes it? That's what I was told. Quick comment on that, Rohit, and then I'll ask Shubhan about this Sanju Samson KKR deal. Rohit, on Shubman Gill, where is it at the moment?
Bureda, look, if he's got if he got selected for the Asia Cup, Shubman Gill, I'll be surprised, and it will come as shock that they didn't appoint him as a vice captain, because if things were in plan at the very start.
I meant he will be picked as a player and then appointed vice captain. It is not as if Shubman is being picked as vice captain because he has to be made vice captain and then added as a player. The thrust is player, and then automatically the choice is vice.
Sure, yeah. So that's the most important point, as you rightly said, that at this point of time, especially that number 3 position, because I think all other positions are very much locked. If you see the 2 openers, I'm still fine, getting this that Shubman can also open, or if they go with Yashasvi, he'll be obviously he will be their choice also. But for the for 1, 2, and 3, it will be most likely the batting position number 3. If Shubman is there, he will play at 3 at this point of time. I really don't know that whether they want to do a short camp in UAE or the 2-3 days of the practice sessions. I'm hearing that they will travel somewhere around 5 or 6 there, and then they have 3 days. Match day one. If we cut out the match day -1 part, that's on the 9th. So still 2 to 3 days for practice, knowing that when they are reaching there. So I think they will definitely go with that. But as far this at this point of time is concerned, like we did this in England also, that if Shubman is the captain, he'll be your number 4, and then Sai Sudarshan, if they are going with Sai Sudarshan and they'll give him a game, it will be number 3. So like that only at this point of time, number 3 for Shubman Gill if he gets selected. But yes, the first thing is they are looking for a player rather than a leadership role, because they are very clear in their mind that they have a captain, Surya Kumar Yadav. They are not focusing on vice captain thing. They are only focusing on the thing that which batter will be the best.
This is 100% correct, because I have heard exactly the same thing, Shubhan, that they are looking at the team and it is revolving around again captain at number 4, and the whole talk was Shubman will open. That's what I don't think will happen. I think Shubman gun player. We are all making this clear. Shubman Gill. In fact, I was even told that if you pick Shubman Gill, he will score you runs in 7 of the 10 games. 7 of the 10 games is what I was told. So Shubman Gill, gun player. Having said that, I don't think they will want to upset the apple cart, Sanju Samson and Abhishek Sharma. They will open, and then Shubman Gill is a possible number 3 option as well. So, but the batter Shubman Gill, because they know very clearly now, or at least from what I understand, that Surya Kumar Yadav is your undisputed captain in T20 format, at least for this tournament and the World Cup in India. After that is a different proposition. The format will not be of preference till the 50-over World Cup and the test cycle. After that, it will become of preference again, because Olympic Games will come. The T20 World Cup will again come. So after a period. So that is the think tank, or that is the kind of thought. So while we understand Shubman Gill's selection issue, like I had written, it is not basis the fact that he is automatic choice as vice captain that he is being picked. The batter in Shubman Gill is certainly in contention, but that too is not a done deal. That's what we had said, and we continue to say that. Anyway, Shubhan, I know KKR fans will come after you. You are tweeting, I saw Ankrish is not happening. What about Sanju? Now tell people lots of questions. Sanju Samson KKR deal. What's going on?
Buriala, after last season, I thought I'll never talk about KKR in my entire life, but
Don't put me into further trouble. You are a troublemaker. So keep that in mind.
that's why I wanted to shift my base to Lucknow Super Giants or Punjab Kings or Sunrisers Hyderabad down the side or Gujarat Titans.
You
Go with
go and
RCB.
you go and do Punjab. I've got no problems. Not
RCB,
Lucknow.
Lucknow is okay, but Gujarat is also an option for me, open option for me. But
On a serious
regard,
note, I mean,
yeah,
without whatever you know. I mean,
yeah.
honestly I have not followed this at all. I haven't followed this at all. So people are asking. So what is the status?
Boria, the talks are certainly on. And Rajasthan Royals' preference is to make the trade before the auction. Unless they find, for Chennai Super Kings, they wanted some big name players, either Ruturaj Gaikwad, either Ravindra Jadeja. So CSK were least interested in releasing their big name players. So for KKR and in KKR, it's a gun lineup. If you look at from the openers till the number 7, 8, you have numerous players who can be traded. Ankriksh's name came up, but KKR rate Ankriksh very highly. They rate him in the same bracket as Shubman Gill, and they know that they made one of the biggest blunders in releasing Shubman Gill when they released him in the past. So for with Ankriksh, they don't want to do that. Ramandeep is a name that is doing the rounds. And he's someone whom KKR might be interested in trading because he's again, he comes to bat at number 7, number 8. He's a gun player, superb fielder, one of the best fielders in the IPL. But for Sanju Samson, plus a bit of cash, with a bit of cash, you can trade a Ramandeep Singh. I'm not saying it's a done deal or it's a certainty, but Rajasthan Royals also need someone who can come up at number 6, number 7, because they were planning to make Dhruv Jurel play top of the order along with Riyan Parag. Dhruv Jurel will form that middle order. I don't think they will retain Nitish Rana. So Nitish Rana homecoming is also possible for KKR. Not in the trade, but in the auction window, if they are willing to buy him. But for Sanju Samson, the talks are certainly on. But whether it will be an all cash deal, whether it will be something which will include a player and a bit of cash, or two players, that is something which needs to be finalized. If they can do, then we are definitely seeing Sanju Samson trade deal happening before the auction window starts. Otherwise, you are going to see Sanju Samson in the auction pool, and KKR will bid heavily for him because they will have the purse after releasing the likes of Venkatesh Iyer, perhaps Quinton de Kock, perhaps other bowlers like a Spencer Johnson or an Umran Malik, whom you have spent a lot of money on. So you will see KKR going into the auction with a heavy purse, but Rajasthan Royals' preference is to make the trade deal happen so that they also get some good young players whom they can invest in the future as well.
Okay, I'll close the show with a final question to Rohit. Rohit, is everything right between Nitish Rana and Rajasthan Royals? Because again, this is what I've heard. Don't hold me to it. Nitish Rana left Calcutta the match before the game they played against KKR. Is it because of a family issue? Is it because that he is expecting a child, or at that point in time something like that? Or because from what I know, the team went to practice at Eden Gardens and Nitish Rana did not go with the team. Nitish Rana was on his way to Delhi. Nitish Rana was not there. And again, I'm from what I know, not everybody in the team was aware of it. Not everybody was aware of it, that this guy is not there. So is some and Shubhan rightly just said that possibly he will be released, traded, whatever it released. Is everything
So,
all right on that front, or have you heard anything on that front that not everything is okay?
so whether I have a completely different news as far as Nitish Rana is concerned. What I know that he's very close to Rahul Dravid, and he and there are a couple of other players also. When this thing happened, the Sanju Samson thing happened between Rajasthan Royals and Sanju Samson. He is also on the other part of the line where Sanju Samson was not standing, because Sanju wanted a different kind of combination as far as the playing 11 are concerned. Then he wanted also Joss Butler thing. The Joss Butler thing, that they want him to. Sanju wanted Rajasthan to retain Joss Butler, but because Rajasthan already made up their mind for Vaibhav Suryavanshi after that Puducherry game, we discussed it in today's morning Hindi show also, that after the Puducherry, and I asked this, the breakdown, I asked this from Vikram Rathore in the press conference, it was official there, that how much interested they were in Vaibhav Suryavanshi. So at that point of time, on one part of the line, it was Sanju Samson who wanted him and Yashasvi to open, but the team management have other ideas. With team management, there were some players also, and Nitish Rana is one of them. So as far as Bureda, my sources are concerned, they are saying that no, Nitish Rana is a very, is a very, means a decision maker kind of a thing in this Rajasthan group as a player. I'm saying, not someone in the management kind of thing. As a player, yes, he's very close to Rahul Dravid, and I don't think that he's going anywhere. I said this, and I said this in the Hindi show also, that for me, I think Dhruv Jurel can go somewhere else, because Dhruv wanted, what I am hearing is that Dhruv also wanted to go. Yashasvi also tried, because Yashasvi wanted the captaincy thing. And what I am getting is that he could be the next leader, as today, where I stand, as far as my sources are concerned, Yashasvi Jaiswal could be the next Rajasthan Royals leader, and not Riyan Parag.
I've heard something similar, but again, I'm very clear. I've not followed IPL trade. If people come and tell me, that's when I'm much more interested in India.
And it's still very, very early days. It's
Very
still very
early.
early days. We have 2 to 2.5 months now before
I'm
November.
not-
Yeah.
I just wish.
By the way, Boriada, the injury replacement thing that we were talking in England, BCCI has made it a rule. Dulip Trophy or the domestic season, for the domestic season.
Remember, I told you ICC will also. From what I
Ah.
know, that they also only when Rishabh's thing happened, we had done the story that it is going to happen, because I was told that this is coming. I was told that you guys wait. In the October meeting, I had put out a story. I'd written the story that day itself, that this is coming, whether Ben Stokes agrees with it or not agrees with it, this will happen. External injuries means you will get a player. Yes. How the assessment will happen about external injury, to will somebody fake an injury and manage it? Will this become a problem? All that I don't know. But I was told at that point in time only that this could become.
They have sent some 10 or 12 points where they have specifically mentioned that it's umpire's call, it will be an external injury, it will be inside the premises of the playground, and when the game is on, there were strict and clear points that what should be the criteria when you replace then you have to write, the team has to write to the BCCI or to the administration that this is happened with the reports, be it the shoulder dislocation, be it any external injury or a fracture, etc. They've written etc. Apart from that, if there's any, or a deep cut also, they've written a cut also, that if it's a deep cut, then also you'll get a replacement. It's only depend on umpires. If you can able to convince them, it's completely fine. Like the concussions have happened.
Exactly. That's what ICC also. Bharat, my you can close the show. From what I know, that the discussion when it happened, the concussion sub came in saying, how are we and why are we saying that only the head is the problem? The entire body has to be taken into consideration. A broken foot, like a Rishabh Pant case, is as debilitating. A broken shoulder or a dislocated shoulder is as debilitating. Why are we only saying a concussion will get a substitute, and an external injury has to ultimately, from what again I know, the discussion was the match cannot be changed from a level playing field to one team getting unfair advantage. And in this case, because of an external injury, one team gets unfair advantage. In Manchester, England got it. At the Oval, India got it. India had unfair advantage. Manchester, England had unfair advantage. We have to stop that. Where do you stand on this, Bharat? And let's close the show.
Yeah, in a way, it is good because obviously, if someone suffers a serious injury, I'm not just thinking about concussion. If someone suffers a serious injury, knee injury, shoulder injury, then is not able to take part in the rest of the game. Then that particular team will be hit very severely. So from that sense, it's a good thing. But it comes down to the referee. It comes down to the umpires, especially referee, that he is able to see through and execute the rule in a strict manner. Because what happens with like for like replacements, as we saw with the Shivam Dubey and Harshit, and I don't want to again get into it, but that definitely, at least for me, it felt like it was a kind of undue advantage for the Indian team. So it also comes down to the match referee that implements this rule strictly in a sense that it's like for like replacement only. So there's other way to look at it, but on an overall basis, it is good for cricket because if someone suffers a shoulder injury, serious back injury, then definitely it will hit that team, particular team, very badly.
Let's close here. Plenty to talk about over the next 48 hours. Shubhan and Rohit will come up with a plan for our selection day, which is on Tuesday. Shomik Chakraborty will be reporting from Bombay. He will be present at the press conference from the Wankhede. As you guys know by now, that Shomik has moved to Bombay and has taken over as our head of Bombay bureau. Lots of talk. Shubman Gill, in or out, in what role? Sanju Samson, where does he bat? Abhishek Sharma, Tilak Verma, Shreya Iyer, will he be considered? Rinku Singh, will he be considered? This selection meeting has become a subject of real interest. So we will bring you all of that. Tomorrow is the derby, the Mohun Bagan East Bengal. We will obviously have an eye on that. Plenty of sport happening. The shooting competition tomorrow is the technical training and all of that. From Monday, competition starts in for the Asian Shooting Championship. India has sent 183 shooters. Can you imagine? That is the talent base that you now have. 183 shooters, out of which 35 in government money, the rest RPO. So people will pay their own and go. But this is the level of depth Indian shooting now has. So a lot of sport coming up. Rohit Juglan, Bharat Ramraj, Shubhan Chakraborty. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.